To 4 p.m. So if I had to go through all that, y'all are going to have to go through that. So, all right. Will our past color guardsman of the year please stand? I know we got George, Paul, our current little lovely color guardsman of the year, Alan Greenlee. Okay. John McCoy. Okay, and our previous color guard, National Color Guard commanders, will y'all please stand? We've got Lou and Dave. All right, thank you, gentlemen. We're gonna skip over the, I think everybody knows the command staff. If you're on the command or support staff, will you please stand, just so everybody can see faces with everyone. Gentlemen, y'all can please be seated. We're going to come back to any reports from those items. The minutes were not sent out to everybody that's on the list. They will, the last meeting minutes along with this set of minutes will be sent out so everybody can look at them and approve them at our spring meeting. I'm running into a little problem with metal applications. Right now, I'm running at about a 25% approval rate on silver metal applications. So I need for the commanders, the state commanders in the rooms to sort of help us out. The line students have been going great. And I'm not announcing who I've awarded them to because a couple of them have been sent in and they're going to surprise the guardsmen at a later event, so I don't want to give anything away. But on the silver medal applications, if you're sending me a silver medal application and the guardsman meets the minimum requirement, send me some information about their bronze too, because I've been asking a couple of questions and finding out. They put national events on their bronze application to get them, and they're putting those same national events on their silver application, so they're coming up short. So if you send me an application and it's got tons of events, okay. But if you're sending me one with barely enough to meet the requirement, make sure you can just go ahead and send the bronze, save me from having to ask you for more information later. We are trying to get up some new reporting forms. I've sent them up to Medals and Awards for them to take a look at them. If you know, if you're in a point state with the points items on there, that form does not total up. There's no place to put the mileage for it to calculate points. We have gotten a new form designed that's interactive that will fill all that stuff out, will total down, works for both the event states and point states. So when that comes out, I'll be emailing those things to everybody. It's also a PDF for the bronze application that matches the silver, be easier than the Excel spreadsheet that we had. Yes. Yeah, it will include the Molly picture, the Von Sullivan, the silver, and the bronze. They'll be, hopefully, we'll be getting new approvals from them. Before we get into the rest of the application, Vice Commander Myers, front and center, please.
Yes, Commander.
Stand right here.
Yes, Commander.
The National Society Sons of the American Revolution awards to Robert C. Myers the Meritorious Service Award in recognition of notable service on behalf of our American principals from the Middle Atlantic Association.
Thank you, Commander.
You're welcome.
Good job, Bob.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And is Daryl Addington in the room? Saw him earlier. Okay, we'll deal with that later. Gentlemen, if you have not been to the SAR.org, click on members, click on committees, go down to the Color Guard committee page. I know it's a lot of clicks to get in there, but you get in there. There are 3 videos that are posted there. They were mentioned at our last meeting. I just want to remind everybody that they're there. Brett has been wonderful on getting this stuff up. You do have to look at his face a lot in the videos, but it's not bad. We've got it there.
I wear a hat.
You wear a hat, okay. Yeah, we got the same problem. There is the first training video on escort and flag duty. There's another video on fire drill, which is musket. When I think fire drill, that sometimes does not come into a shooting drill, and a one on safety inspection. So these are by no means mandatory, but they do have good practices that if you're performing in your states, you really need to look at them. You really need to try to get your guardsmen to take a look at them. There's a new one on sword drills that's forthcoming. I just watched it right before this meeting, so hopefully it'll be posted up soon. Commander Lyles, which I don't think he's in the room right now, is trying to get these moved to a section on the e-learning tab so that they'll be on the front page of the SAR.org, and they're open to the public. You don't even have to sign in to get there, but we're not there yet. There's some technical issues on getting that done. So we've got to get that taken care of. But get your color guardsmen, at least as the commanders. Make sure you have watched all three. Hopefully you will adopt them. There's a few things we do in Georgia that are not on there in addition to the other. But one thing I do want to stress is you have to have your guardsmen secure their firelocks before the events as part of the safety inspection and after they have their firing. They should not walk out of line or be dismissed if those firelocks have not been secured. And that brings us up to the liability insurance issue that we've got. We've got several states, about 7 or 8, that have got a policy with a carrier. We have many other states that do not. I mentioned at Congress that I'd be sending out a survey to come out. I'm working with some people on the insurance committee to get that survey that we want to send out. If you are having a musket fire at a national SAR event, you need to your state must need to have insurance that names the National Society as an additional insured, or you can be covered by the policy from national. The only way you're going to be covered by the National Society SAR insurance policy is to contact Megan, get the form for your event, fill out all the questions that the insurance company asks, submit it back to Megan, let her get it to the insurance carrier, and get a certificate of insurance. So if you're having a national SAR event and you're gonna have black powder, and preferably if you're gonna have one, period, because you've got liability whether you have black powder or not. If your state does not have insurance, you need to go get with Megan, and this is not a one-day turnaround item. You got to fill out how many people you expect, location, what's gonna happen, is it a parade, where the crowd is sitting, where the firing is gonna be. You got a bunch of questions to answer for her as she was reviewing the policy. I just verified all that with the insurance committee before I came in here that met earlier this morning. So try to get insurance, Dan.
I think it'd be a good idea that they get that regardless of whether they're firing or not.
Right, that's what I was mentioning. The firing is the principal item, but we've had, I'll get to y'all's questions in just a moment. We had one guardsman in South Carolina, when I was commanding, right before the event started, trip, fell face first, broke his neck.
Ooh.
Okay, had to be airlifted out from the event. So you don't have just liability from the firearms and the black powder. You've got liability all over the place. Red.
Man, I spoke to the Patriot this morning. This came up recently. The state of Delaware, are there any Delaware reps here? Delaware does not have a color guard, correct?
We have some makings of a color guard.
this point was brought up, you had reenactors come to Cooch's Bridge.
Yes.
Okay, so people observed their safety, it wasn't that impressive. Nonetheless, you're the host society, you brought mercenaries in. Okay? Some accident happens, think about it, you did not have black powder insurance.
Correct.
Okay? Think about it, because if you're called to court, who's paying the legal bill?
Yeah.
You are, if you don't have liability insurance, which the
Well,
laws
they
just
had
say.
their own liability insurance.
I know, but you
And each of
are,
the color guard groups there had their own.
I understand, but you as a society, if we're hosting the event in Delaware,
Yeah.
you got to protect the society as well and
Okay.
yourselves.
Right.
That's
Now,
just-
now, that's not a national event, so,
Right.
right, but it is an
It will
issue
be.
that everybody needs to be concerned with.
Think about it.
Yes.
Well, next year we-
Name please,
Chris
name is.
Moberg, Minnesota. If it's a DAR sponsored event, then you don't need the form?
You still got the liability if SAR is taking a color guard to a DAR event. Cause DAR is not gonna cover our color
Right.
guards. So you've got a ton of liability out there.
Pat Kelly, Virginia.
Yes.
Gentlemen, we've been kicking this can down the road for at least 4 years.
Right.
I would make the recommendation that NASAR, National Society, or the Color Guard, National Color Guard Commander, contact these states that have carriers, give the carriers' names to the states who don't have a carrier, and have those states contact the carrier and get insured.
Yeah.
Because sooner or later, this is gonna jump up and bite us in the butt. It hasn't already, we've been extremely lucky, but we keep having these instances where people are getting caught with no insurance. Nothing happened, but they have the liability.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Get insured and get this monkey off your back, because if something happens before you get your insurance, your society is gonna be in deep kimchi.
Yeah,
It's
we're
a
trying
safety
not
thing,
to.
it's a
and I-
safety thing too, thank you.
Yeah, I don't wanna spend a whole lot more time on this if we can avoid it, but we will be contacting those. Georgia has insurance. I'm happy to talk to about the policy. Virginia has, North Carolina, has a policy that's different than some of the other. Kentucky, a few of them. They maybe not be the best policies in the world, but they are something to help protect us. And National is working. The national policy, when they went out to shop it, came back in at $20 per person. That's everybody in your state society. Many of your state societies don't even charge $20 a person in dues.
Robert Vance, New Mexico. This issue you say get with Megan Krebs about, is that for a single event?
Per event.
Per event, and is there any cost to the society for that?
For the national events, there are no, but yeah, it needs to be a national event, because that's all they're covering.
Veterans Day Parade?
But Veterans Day Parade would be a national event. No, there is no additional cost. You just have to jump through the hoops.
And one last question, because it's coming up for us.
I don't know why they don't do
What
that.
kind of lead time do I need to
They
contact?
should.
Now,
Every state.
yeah, I would imagine this is gonna be at least a 2 to 3 week process, and she's trying to do it in on top of
Still
everything
pushing that.
else, so, now.
We won't have.
Okay, gentlemen, I think we've sort of beat this horse right now, so we're gonna move on, but I'll be happy to talk to anybody about what we've got in Georgia. We are not, as a color guard, endorsing any particular liability carrier or any policy, but we will provide information on who we got it from. There may very well be better policies out there, but something is definitely better than being, and if you're not insured, you ought to be. I went to a state, they'll go nameless, they say that their insurance is the responsibility of the color guardsman. I asked them, are they getting annual statement from their color guardsmen that they are insured? My answer was, we told them in 1995 they're supposed to have insurance. This is 2023, not 1995. You've got to, if you're gonna do that, which I do not recommend, you better get some verification that they are covered at that point. Get your own policy, please. 250th, we are finally rolling around to the 250th anniversary of various events. On 16 December 2023 will be the 250th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party. There's some information, there's also Boston Tea Party t-shirts that they're selling in merchandise. So take a look, there's a room block that's out there, so please take a moment to look at that. Color Guardsman of the Year nominations. Last year, nominations were allowed to come in to be up until 1 week before leadership. That does not match the handbook. The handbook says that applications must be in by December the 31st. So if you have somebody that your state or your chapter, Color Guardsman of the Year, nominations can come from both a state and they can come from a chapter, according to our handbook. Those nomination forms need to be in by 31st December 2023. You email them to Rob Myers as well as email it to me. So Rob is robert.myers29@gmail.com and mine is scottcollins1775@gmail.com. Lou, did you want to speak about the Youth Color Guard Medal? Any information you want to provide to the group?
Oh, well, at this time, the medals have been purchased. I believe they are here at National. I sent Scott a rough draft of the form for the medals, and I guess we'll get to that as soon as you can. He unfortunately we both of us have been living through some difficult times recently, and but the draft is to the commander, and hopefully we'll get that approved, and then we'll start approving the applications. It's not going to be the national commander he's not going to approve these. These are for the states and the state and chapter color guard commanders to look at and see if they have any young people, youth under the age of 18 that are qualified for these medals. The qualifications we had already considered, which would be very simple. It would be 3 events for 3 years. It doesn't matter whether it's a chapter, a state, or a national. Does not matter. Just 3 events. There is no point system involved in this medal, okay? But it is just for color guard youth. I know that the bronze medal can still be awarded to the youth, but it's probably a better idea that you award this medal first. Because guess what? After the kid wins it, he's got another 70 or 80 years to get the bronze if he wants it, you know? But after he's over 18, then, you know, he can't get this medal. So, yes, sir.
All right, so basically 3 years participation, under the age of 18, doing at least 3 events a year is what the requirements. And once they age over 18, they're not eligible.
I just want to verify.
Name and state.
Robert Vance, New Mexico. I want to verify what I think I heard you say at the inception of this. The youth does not need to be associated with SAR.
Correct, yes. This could be friends, this could be young ladies, because youth, they're not DAR or SAR at this time.
Yeah, they do not have to be children of the American Revolution, do not have to be a junior SAR. They can be anybody under the age of 18.
It's participation with the color guard. So they do need to either carry a flag, march with the color guard, but it's participation. with the color
You
guard.
said 3 events, he said 3 years.
Both. 3 events for 3 years.
Okay.
They don't have to be consecutive, but any 3 events in any given year, 3
Okay.
years.
Lou, starting date, retro back anytime, or is this?
Look back to 2018. All right?
Excuse me, Scott, is there
Yes.
a form?
Name and state.
Petermalla, Delaware, is there a form for this?
That's what we're working on.
Now, the form has not come out yet. The medals are here. We'll have to get the form up and going. All right, Color Guardsman, the Color Guards magazine. Gentlemen, if you haven't looked at it, We got a great Color Guards magazine. Steve Williams does a great job with putting that together. It's a 50, 60 page magazine each quarter coming out. I would not want the job myself, so I think, yeah.
Bill Sharp, Michigan. I'm the chairman of the Historic Sites Committee, under which a lot of these events occur.
Yeah.
Or have been recommended to occur. And I really like what they've done with this Color Guard magazine, because I'm seeing a lot of reports for events that I've asked the event coordinator to supply me, so I ultimately end up getting it out of the magazine rather than from them. So, and it's very good, I appreciate it.
All right, so I just wanted to call your attention to the deadlines. Also, take that Color Guards magazine, send it out. If you got a listserv in your state, make sure it gets sent out, because I had a gentleman that came to the Washington Tomb Vigil because I had sent out the issue of the magazine the prior year that had the Washington Tomb Vigil in it. And he thought it was a neat event. He dressed out, came up and did probably 7 guard shifts, because he loved the event. But on the magazine, let's finish up with it. We're coming up on the October issue. The deadline for October is no later than September the 30th. The January issue will be next. That deadline is January the 5th. The April issue is deadline of March 31st. The July issue is a little bit later, it's July the 10th, to give you a time to get some of the Independence Day events into the magazine. Regarding the Washington Tomb Vigil this year, if you notice, I'm wearing the Washington Tomb Vigil pin. These are given to guardsmen that have started standing guard at the tomb. They were started last year. The whole way to get one of the pins is to serve a rotation at the tomb going forward. If you did it before last year, you don't get the pin. You have to come back for it. We had 27 guardsmen. That's a little lower than normal, but it was still a very nice turnout of guardsmen. Georgia, Missouri, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Ohio, North Carolina, and Virginia. And I may have said Virginia before, it was West Virginia and also Virginia. Yes. No, I'm sure you wrote them all down. Okay. All right, but so we had a very good time there. If you have not done it, it is a special event. To come down, to march into Mount Vernon, go by the mansion, march down the hill to the tomb, stand your 15-minute shift as guardsmen, or hopefully multiple shifts. We always have enough guardsmen around passing off weapons, those types of things. All weapons were inspected before we even left the parking lot, so you're not gonna catch me on not doing the safety inspections. Our next national event coming up is October the 7th at Kings Mountain. If you tried to get a hotel reservation and were told the hotel was full, I just got a call about 5 minutes before this meeting. There was a group that's leaving a day early, and there's about 10 more rooms available in the hotel. So if you haven't gotten a hotel reservation and you're coming to Kings Mountain, it's the wonderful Sleep Inn in Gaffney, South Carolina. It's also Parents Weekend in multiple colleges in that area, so hotel rooms are extremely hard to come by. The South Atlantic District meeting will be on October 6th, followed by Kings Mountain on October the 7th. And Point Pleasant Battle Days are on October the 8th. Now, at this time, do we have any new business? I think we had some motions to come forward. State your name and state, please.
Joseph Parker, Alabama. Going back to the, I'd like to introduce a motion for a new medal. Before I start, I would like to, there were several people that offered to help with this. I had a couple of personal losses and some medical problems. If I did not get back to you, it's not that I didn't appreciate the offers, just, I was not, I just couldn't do it. Anyhow, the motion for my medal, I would like to introduce a motion that the color guard committee start the process to create a new color guard medal. This medal is to be named the Timothy Pickering Medal in honor of the American patriot Timothy Pickering, creator of one of the most influential pre-war training manuals used by American troops. The need for this new medal is based on the need to recognize the contribution of individual guardsmen. No other element of our organization spends more time, money, and effort on a continuing basis supporting society events and showing the SAR present at public activities in the color guard. Unfortunately, there's a serious oversight in our current recognition program in that once a guardsman is qualified for his Silver Color Guard medal, chapter and state color guard events do not count in any current recognition program. This presents a serious problem in that the vast majority of SAR events are state and chapter events, and that by far the majority of an individual guardsman's participation in color guard events during his time in the color guard will come from supporting these events. The medal proposed to fill this gap in the recognition program should rank in precedence behind the other color guard medals and the grade marking medal. The medal would be available in silver in both large and miniature and awarded at 500 points. Standard points and mileage would apply. Those using the events points would need to participate in 50 events to qualify. At 1,000 points or 100 events, a silver star would be added to the medal's drape. For each additional 1,000 points or additional 100 events, an additional star will be added to the drape. Stars will be placed in the blue field as high as possible and in a straight line across the drape for a total of 3 stars. 3 rows of stars may be added if the guardsman earns them. A final star may be placed at the bottom center for a total of 10 stars. If a guardsman should qualify for more than 10 stars, an additional Pickering medal will be awarded, and the stars will be displayed on the second medal as on the first. A 3/16" star device will be used on the large medal, and a 1/8" star device will be used on the miniature medal. Points qualifications for these medals would only start to accrue once the bronze color guard medal is awarded. Qualifying events can be counted retroactively from January 1st, 2021. The approving official for this medal is the state color guard commander or the state president. Perhaps states could do their own medals to recognize participation in these events, but for uniformity throughout the society, this needs to be a national award. Included in my package is a write-up for the member handbook and a proposed design for the new medal. I believe that after the initial look-back period, the number of Pickering medals awarded each year will be in line with the number of Silver Color Guard medals awarded. And for initial funding of this process, I propose that perhaps we could approach the GWS for the initial strike.
So this is a motion to start a process to create the medal. So this is not a motion to approve the medal at this point. So we got a motion on the floor. Do we have someone that would like to second that motion?
Second. Bob Anderson, Alabama.
Who was that?
Name again.
Bob Anderson, Alabama.
Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion, gentlemen. Yes.
Dave Hoover, Maryland. 50 events?
I'm not an event guy, but it would be the same. I may have written that incorrectly, but it would be this. It would be the equivalent of 500 points, whatever events that would require.
2? I mean, you be driving a lot of distance. Texas, you do 500 miles from your house just to get to the place in 500 back.
Well, that's, I mean.
Okay, we can work, I think 50, I agree with you, I think 50 events is too high, but.
Half these guys don't live that long.
I'm open for any adjustment that's required, I just want to,
I mean, my suggestion on this, if we would like to proceed, if it's defeated, then we don't go anywhere. If this is proceeded, then I think it needs to be taken to the command staff. We work with it, we talk with medals awards a little bit on it, and then we can have a Zoom meeting or do something to try to move it along, but I guess right now we need to have, really want some comments. We got the one on the events. Are there other points that need to be commented on? Anybody feel like that we just need to leave this alone? We wanna move forward? What's your thought process?
The only thing that strikes me.
Name and state.
Stephen Fields, Florida.
Stephen Fields.
Only thing that strikes me as odd is awarding a second medal once you reach the level of stars. It would be the only award that I know of in the SAR where we award multiples of the actual medal. I think you might look at a different scheme, like replacing the stars with a gold star or a larger version, like we do with supplementals. And stick to just having one of the medal itself and change the devices on it. That would be consistent with our medal scheme that we use on everything else.
Okay.
It would be an easier sell.
All right. We had another gentleman. Name and state.
Bob Hagel, Wisconsin. Why are we creating another medal? Why don't you just take the silver and add stars to it?
Because the silver
Well,
is for national.
there's a difference on this. The silver medal is for, state, national, and district items. This medal would also include the chapter level and state level events.
No, this medal is only for state and chapter events.
Okay,
You could put stars on the bronze.
yeah,
It stars in the bronze.
yeah.
This medal nicely fits.
Name and state.
Sorry, Bill Sweatby, Virginia. This medal nicely fits the gap left by not allowing oak leaf clusters on the bronze color guard medal. Might that be a better solution to begin with?
Okay. Again, we'll take all these comments and figure out where we want to go in just a moment. Brad?
Yeah, Brett Osborne, Virginia. We do have a state medal, the Billy Flora, which is kind of doing the chapter state thing. So that's only been like 2 years, is that correct, Bill, in Virginia? Billy Flora. So we adopted that at the state to meet that requirement for just the people that had those up. Thank you.
Yeah.
Robert Vance, New Mexico, something to address the multiple medal and so many stars, whatever. Something that was talked about today in medals and awards about the Liberty Medal is a blank bar and engrave the number on that whenever you reach so many.
I'm open to.
Silver or gold bar.
All right. Name and state.
Greg Petty, Texas Society. I believe you said chapter and state activity color guard. So Texas has already had one Galvez medal for 20 years, just like Virginia has it. We have a bronze, a silver, and a gold points, events, etc. We have forms and descriptions. Maybe y'all have too. So those are available to y'all to cut and paste and use as you see fit to help get started and expedite the process.
Okay, you may want to just send me that information.
Okay.
Get a chance. All right, gentlemen, any other comments?
Call the question.
Okay, question has been called. All in favor of calling the question, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Question is called. So the motion is on the floor, open to a vote. Basically that the committee start the process to create this new color guard medal. Question's been called, so there's no further discussion. All in favor of moving forward with the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion passes. We will move forward with exploring that particular item. Speaking of items going through medals and awards, if you were at Congress at the breakfast, the badge of merit was approved by the color guard committee to move forward. So when something is approved by the committee, the next step is to medals and awards. It went to medals and awards, had a number of questions, but was approved at medals and awards. If you pass medals and awards, you got to go to the executive committee. When it got to the executive committee, it was a no-go. So the executive committee did not approve the color guard recommendation to create the badge of merit to go on the color guardsman of the year uniform. So that proposal is now dead. So just wanted to keep everybody informed. If you were at the meeting or saw something on where that was approved, that is no longer the case. I've got 237 at this particular point. I've already made the push for Kings Mountain that's coming up soon. Looking to Color Guardsman of the Year, we have, you know, from Kings Mountain, we have Point Pleasant in West Virginia on October 8th. Battle of Chestnut Neck in New Jersey on the 14th. Battle of Saratoga on the 15th of October. Yorktown, the 19th of October. Followed by Red Bank Battle Days in New Jersey on the 22nd. And then we get to Veterans Day. Then if you want to come to some warmer temperatures out of the north, on the 18th of November, we have the come and take it ceremony at Fort Morris down in wonderful Midway, Georgia, which is about 45 minutes south of Savannah. And then if you want to get cold again, you can head back up north on the 2nd of December for Great Bridge. Then we got Washington's Crossing, Wreaths Across America, the Battle of Princeton, Battle of Cowpens, we got the Boston Tea Party, and then you come up to Cowan's Ford in Huntersville, North Carolina, and then you come back to Georgia for the Battle of Kettle Creek. So we've got a ton of national events coming up along the lines. Also, please remember in February, because we won't get together between now and then, we did approve Washington birthday celebrations, color guard events as a national event. So if you've got a Washington birthday event and you put a color guard out there, that event will qualify. That's a relatively new change.
Steve Fields, Florida, is there a look back or is it just going forward?
Just going forward. There was no, this was approved, I think last year was the first year on that.
Yeah, there had been a Washington's birthday parade or something.
Correct,
that took
in
place.
Texas, correct.
And we decided on the Historic Sites Committee to change that to include anything that had to do to celebrate Washington's birthday, wherever you are. If you arrived in your color guard uniform and supported it in that way, you got national points.
Right, so.
It's been 2 birthdays now.
Okay, been 2 birthdays, so we've had 2 years, that's been a national event. In Gainesville, Georgia, we actually have a Washington Monument, gigantic marker sitting off to the side. So we all gather out there and on Washington's birthday and present colors and try to stay out of the street as the traffic is slowing by. But good event, no black powder firing, but good event. All right, anybody want to address any of the other national events coming up? Yes.
Will you provide more information on the Boston and November on the Tea Party thing for hotels? They mentioned that.
It's December the 16th. It's also the same day as Wreaths Across America, so that was wonderful planning to have them both on the same day, but unfortunately, that's just the way they plan. I will send some information out to that based off the sign-in list there. If you want some information on this and you did not put your email address on the sign-in, because I don't think we had a spot for it, make sure you stick your email address on one of the sheets and I'll send it out to you. Tonight, gentlemen, we have no idea what that room's gonna look like. Even when I go up there at 4 o'clock to look at the room, it's gonna be changed by the time 5 o'clock comes around. So I will be making multiple trips into that ballroom, trying to figure out how in the Sam Hill we're gonna get all the people in there, get the flags in, get everybody in and out, get our musicians, our ministers, our clergy, everybody along that line. So to that extent, come down around 6 o'clock. No need to come a whole lot earlier because they keep that ballroom closed out. I'll be able to get in there, but I can't have a bunch of y'all in there at the same time. We will give out flags around 6:30. We are carrying the first 13 plus the command group that's on the stage. So the 3 different national colors that we always carry, the PG state flag, SAR, and 250th. And then if we have more color guardsmen, which I expect that we do have, we'll have a cordon down the middle. assuming we have a middle aisle, but we'll figure all that out. Tonight, you have to bear with me. If you are dressing out tonight, when we carry, all right, sweet. As we carry colors, we're only gonna carry them about 3 or 4 inches off the ground.
Fire drill.
All handicapped occupants shall use the building
Can't find
evacuation
thing, we're on
ramp.
the first floor. Have to go down the hill.
Well, this one, first floor.
Okay, gentlemen, that's the end of our meeting. Please stand, and we will head out the door.
Down to the rear, disappear.
Okay.